Hi people of YouTube, I'm back again, and just like I told you this past Monday when we looked at the SD60E Veterans Unit from Atlas and other stuff, I have some more stuff for you today, so let's go over to the workbench and take a look. Alright, so here's what we have on the workbench today. We have an SD60 here, which I'm going to set aside for a minute. A couple of Bulkhead Flatcars. Oh, that's heavy. Feels like die-cast metal. And this, which is a covered hopper. So I guess we'll look at the covered hopper first. This is a Pullman-Standard 4427 covered hopper, and it's available in 5 different paint schemes with 3 different road numbers for each paint scheme for $32.95. As is usually the case, I've scrutinized the paint with my magnifying visor very carefully and found the printing and paint to be flawless, all but the smallest writing, like inside the block here, is legible with magnification. So the paint on the model looks really stupendous. Looking at the end detail, you can see there's a separately applied brake wheel, and then the brake platform is molded but looks really good, and the writing here is legible. And if you look back down in there, you can see there's a air reservoir, so for brake detail. Looking at the top, you can see that the walkway detail and all the hatch detail and stuff is all molded. It's still done pretty well though, and it looks like if you added some weathering to these areas, it would look even more convincing. Looking at the bottom now, you can see that they added gate tracks on the chutes. So that would be these parts here. So they've added some detail to this from previous releases. Also, while it's on its back like this, you can see once again that these are in fact knuckle couplers on there. Alright, so that's the covered hopper. Let's take a look at those Bulkhead Flatcars. Those are intriguing. Okay, so looking at the Bulkhead Flatcars, these are 48-foot GSI Bulkhead Flatcars, and I've put one with the B end exposed and one with the A end exposed so you can see both at the same time. I found these on Atlas's website in 5 different road names, and each one has 4 different road numbers, and they all list out at $32.95. And the reason I said these were intriguing is when I took them out of their boxes and set them on the table here, I noticed that they were pretty heavy. And the reason why is because their bodies are die cast. So let's take a closer look at one of them. Okay, so I think what I'll do is we'll look at the UP one first, and then briefly go over the BN one after that. Something I will tell you that I did to both of these first is to scrutinize the paint as usual, and all the printing and all the paint and everything is perfect. And even the smallest writing on these you can actually read, and it looks really good. Something else that's kind of cool, and I don't know if you can see this, is the deck is detailed. So I'll skip over the top later, but I want to show you this now. This is actually their wood. It's a simulated wood planking. And the stake pockets also look really good. Something that's pretty cool. You probably can't see it from here, so I'll turn it and you'll be able to see this. There's a printing here too, which you can also read. So I picked it up because I wanted to show you the detail in the lattice here. Really nicely done, and this is all metal. And then of course the brake wheel is a separately applied piece. The brake platform is molded, but as you can see it looks pretty convincing. And again, this is the kind of thing where if you weather it, it'll make those little details pop a little better and it'll look a lot more convincing. All of Atlas's contemporary releases have these knuckle couplers, and this is no exception. And then as you can see, the bottom does have little brake details added to it. I mean, honestly, this is something you probably would never see with the train rolling down the track, but it's nice that they thought to put that in there. And as promised, we're going to work our way backwards with the BN one. You can see the couplers once again. And then brake detail. Same thing, right? I'm going to do this kind of quickly. Let's look at the side. And again, looking at the lattice and the brake wheel, coupler. It's all the same as the UP one. Looks really good. Looking at the detail in the deck. It's all simulated wood slats. Looks really great. And once again, looking at the side, and notice that all the writing is in fact legible. So these are pretty nice cars. Let's look at that locomotive. That's what I really want to see. So here we go. SD60. These locomotives are available in 4 different paint schemes, as well as an undecorated, so I guess that's 5 different paint schemes. And they come either with DCC and sound or without. And if you get them with the DCC and sound installed at the factory, they're $249.95. And if you get them without it, it's $139.95. Each road name comes in 3 different road numbers. So as I was showing you, the one that I have is Union Pacific, and you can see from the package that it is one that has the DCC and sound in it. But I wanted to show you the package real quick. I usually don't do this, but I'm going to do it this time because I want to point out there's a compartment here, and that's for particular road names that come with separate parts. The UP one does not come with the separate parts, but if it's supposed to have them, they come with a separate parts bag here with a winterization hatch, and that's something to look out for if it's one of the road names that's supposed to have it. Anyway, since this is the DCC with sound one, we'll be sort of exploring the features of that particular version of it. And I should mention right off that the paint job on this looks superb. The only thing that's not legible here are the smallest markings, these little warning labels and stuff. So we're looking at the front now, and as you can see, it has a separate horn casting, which looks pretty nice there. And the handrails and everything are very to scale. They look really good. I've seen some models similar to this where the handrails look really thick, but that's not the case here. And it has other paint features like the striping on the stairwell. And this is a separately applied snowplow. Looks great. And of course, you have your AccuMate knuckle couplers, and these are the magnetic ones with the metal trip pin. So looking good there. And once again, all of Atlas's current releases come with knuckle couplers. Thought it would be fitting to give you a look at the front detail. That way you can see how good the shield emblem is on the front. And you can see how good the number boards look too. Very legible, nice small printing. Taking a look at the fireman side here, you can see the brake wheel is in fact a separately applied piece. You know, it has all the spotting features like the bulge here that you'd expect to see on an SD60. I think it represents really well what an SD60 looks like. Now, I wanted to point out the shield here also looks great. You can see little details picked out here in the fuel tank area. So yeah, it has pretty good detail in it. And this is all molded stuff, but it looks really great. Something else that looks really good, even though it's molded, are the grills in here. That all looks really good. And I'm thinking, you know, adding a little bit of weathering powder or a black wash or something to that will make it look even better. I'm really looking forward to a point in time when I can start weathering these things, because I think that will make them look even more convincing. And if you look on the back, you can see the details about the same. The grabs are all molded, and the hoses are molded as well. The paint's very crisp. The fan, hatch detail, and other details on the roof are all molded, but if you look in there, and this is again the same kind of thing, if you put some weathering powder in here, it'll look even better, and it looks like there is some depth to it, even though it's molded. So good job, Atlas. I'm liking the way this looks. Before I run this, I wanted to show you how the wheels are blackened. Alright, so as you know, running the train is always my favorite thing, so let's get it started and see what it sounds like and see how it runs. The lights are directional and operate with the F0 key. There's the front. And let's take a look at the back here. Rear headlight. F0. There you go. So as you can see, these are really nice models, just like the ones we looked at last time. Lots of good stuff coming out from Atlas. And like I said earlier, I'm really excited about this SD60. Something I should mention though is that it came out of the box with an ESU decoder in it, just like it was supposed to, but the decoder was blank. So it's a good idea if you're going to order anything from any company that has an ESU decoder in it to have the ESU decoder programmer just in case the same thing happens to you. I was lucky I happened to have one and programmed it. So anyway, that's it for this time, and I will catch you next time.